got some football weather for week 4 of high school football in the Shore Conference. I'm Rich Krampanis. Thanks so much for logging on to ShoreSportsZone.com. The rain, you're not going to hear us complain about it. It's a big part of the storyline as we've got some great highlights all around Monmouth and Ocean County. One of the biggest games in New Jersey right here at the Swamp in Middletown. The Middletown South Eagles going toe-to-toe with Rumson-Fair in a battle of state champs. That starts our Week 4 highlight show.
Shore Sports Zone's coverage of Rumson-Fair is brought to you by Serve Pro of Eatontown Long Branch. Shore Sports Zone's coverage of Middletown South is brought to you by Angela Alessi and Weichert Realtors.
You knew the rain wasn't going to slow down Mid-South Nation. They were out in full force, and they saw one heck of a football game. Defense dominated the headlines on both sides. That is Kevin Higgins, playing hurt, back from 2 weeks injured. He is a warrior. And more great defensive play. How about Jake Krellin? He had an unbelievable game. Run stopping was at a premium for both the Eagles and the Bulldogs. Field position important in weather games. Here's Thomas Chapin with the punt, and this one is out of bounds at the 1 yard line. That was huge. Middletown South was pinned deep, and the first turnover of the game comes here. Anthony Summy loses the handle. Mike Ruane, the linebacker committed to UMass, comes up with a fumble recovery at the 12 yard line. RFH has awesome field position, and on the very next play, Matt Vecchiarelli, right side, he outruns the Eagles into the paint. Touchdown RFH, 7-0 Bulldogs in front. RFH was looking for more. Second quarter now, O'Connor finds Pete Lucas, and Lucas is just shy of a first down. He wants the first down. It's 4th and short. O'Connor's going to try and sneak it in, but look at Jake Kellen and the Middletown South defense. They slam the door shut. Turnover on downs. And that allowed Anish Agrawal to go to work. Here's Agrawal to Samson Dubé. Great job of keeping his feet in bounds. 15-yard gain. And hey, Agrawal felt fine throwing it in the rain. Up top, Jeff Lewandowski. Great catch here down at the 7-yard line. And it would lead to this. Anthony Summy, 1 yard touchdown run. We're tied up at 7 apiece, 3:27 to go in the first half. It looked like RFH was going to take the lead heading into the halftime locker room because Alex Mulgin gets loose, and there he goes. 51 yards for Alex Mulgin. He takes it all the way down to the 8-yard line. But the Eagles defense buckles down, and then O'Connor here loses the handle of the ball, pops out. He's able to fall on it. Missed field goal at the half. 7-7. We're knotted up. Third quarter. There was some serious talent on the field. This is Jake Krellin again. Oh, man! That'll be a Hit of the Year nominee for sure. And then more fireworks, this time from the rocket arm of Anish Agrawal. Throws it in the rain. Jeremy Joyce shakes off the defender, and he's gone. 61 yards. Agrawal to Joyce. Middletown South with a 14-7 lead. RFH had plenty of chances in this one. Another turnover here. Summy loses the handle. It's recovered by Pat Russo. Late third quarter, down 7. The Bulldogs go to work on offense. Vecchiarelli had an outstanding game. Good job of finding the hole here and then getting some extra yardage. Matt Vecchiarelli inside the 30-yard line. And then Alex Mulgin. Look at him go, left side. Mulgin with a great run here inside the 10. End of the third quarter. It's still 14-7. This drive continues. And on the first play of the fourth quarter, Michael O'Connor committed to Colgate. Colgate's getting a good one. Look at this great run. 5 yards for Michael O'Connor. It's now 14-13 with the extra point to come. But remember, the weather conditions were tough. And this extra point is wide left. Middletown South stays in front by 1, 14-13 on the ensuing kickoff. Jamie Laughinghouse with an incredible strip but Middletown South very fortunate to fall on the loose football. That was huge. The Eagles retain possession. They're trying to chew off some clock. Here's Samson Dubé. Look at this great play here. Into RFH territory. The drive would stall. And so now, one more chance for RFH to go for the win. Michael O'Connor brings the Bulldogs into Middletown South territory. The clock is ticking. But when it came down to it, the Eagles defense was able to make plays like this when it mattered the most. On third down, Kevin Higgins with another big stop. Under 30 seconds to go, RFH has one more chance. They're just outside of field goal range. O'Connor throws it up. Look at Jake Krell on the defensive end back there playing a little DB. And Krellin knocks it down, and that preserves a Middletown South victory. The Eagles are 4-0, and they are figuring out a way to win close games. Last week it was a goal line stand against Manasquan to preserve a win. This time around, the defense shines again. 14-13 is your final. There is no question that we saw two outstanding football teams go head-to-head. The Rumson-Fair defense was tremendous in this game, and the same can be said for both offensive lines. These were just two great teams battling it out to the very end. Middletown South gets the win by one, 14-13. After the game, we talked to Kevin Higgins about the stellar defensive effort and the combination of Anish Agarwal and Jeremy Joyce, who ultimately provided the game winner.
It was real fun, real exciting. We get to go head-to-head with all of them. It came down to fourth and one many times, and we prevailed.
Yeah, it was extremely tough. I can barely hold the ball, even when I'm just holding on the sideline. It's extremely slippery. It's even cold out, so my hands are getting a little stiff. But they were loading the box. Safeties were up. So when we were running, we had some trouble. So let's take a shot. Worked out and ran down the field. Hugged Jeremy Joyce. Loved it.
Hey, it hasn't been easy. We got a tough schedule, but everybody around us are rallying together, and we're all playing as a team. We're starting to play as a team, as one, and that's only going to help us as we keep moving forward. Yeah, it was a little misty. I told myself when the ball was in the air, I'm coming down with it, and I'm breaking the tackle, I'm scoring. I knew right from the start.
Shore Sports Zone's coverage of the St. John Vianney Lancers is brought to you by Paver Restoration.
Brick Township coming off a loss to Toms River North, hosting St. John Vianney. The Green Dragons had a 14-6 lead at the half thanks to 2 TDs from Jasir Taylor. Here's Hazik Daniels at QB for SJV rolling out. He finds Nick Denseski, one of the top sackers on a defensive line. He can catch it as well. That's good for 18, but the drive would stall because Anthony Costanza drags down Daniels. Early fourth quarter, it's 14-6, Brick Township up 8. Dragons looking to use up some clock, preserve that lead. Taylor wrapped up, ball's ripped out. AJ Calabro comes up with a huge turnover, and it would lead to this. Johnny Buchanan from a yard out. Buchanan so good in short yardage, up and over. It's 14-12. The Lancers have to go for 2 to tie the game. And Hazik Daniels, nice job of changing fields. Good footwork in the mud by Daniels. 2-point conversion is good. We're tied at 14 with 7:48 to go. Now, under 2 minutes to go. SJV with a chance to take the lead. Third and long, Jasir Taylor breaks it up. So now the Lancers have to punt. And that means it's time for Brick Township Special Teams Unit to come through another block punt. They have done it almost every single week this season. Great field position. Anthony Costanza looking for the win in regulation, but it's a fumble. He falls on it. We're going to OT, tied at 14. In the first OT, the Lancers get it first, and it's Chris Chukwuneke time. And look at Chris Chuck leaping over the defender. Chris Chuck running hard. Look at that uniform, all covered in mud. And it's Chris Chukwuneke from a yard out. Good blocking there by Jamal Beatty, 52. It's 20-14. Now the Lancers could kick it to go up 7, but they're going to try and go for 2 here. Daniels to Samuel East. Put 2 more points on the board. 22-14 Lancers in OT. Brick Township needs a TD and a 2-point conversion to extend the game. 4th and long. Taylor on the halfback pass, incomplete, but hold on, pass interference keeps the drive alive. It's another 4th down for Brick. Anthony Costanzo looking to the end zone for John Prado. This one is incomplete, and the Lancers of St. John Vianney come back from a 14-0 deficit. This is a quality road win for head coach Derek Sininsky and his SJV team. You see the celebration? It's warranted. That's a big win for St. John Vianney. 22-14 over Brick Township. Great highlights as always by Alex Lorenzo. Remember, one of the big strengths of St. John Vianney is its offensive line with future Rutgers Scarlet Knights Micah Clark and Jamal Beatty. They were able to set the tone and allow Chris Chukwuneke to get into the end zone, and that proved to be the difference. The Lancers win by 8 as St. John Vianney improves to 4-0 on the season.
Shore Sports Zone's coverage of Red Bank Catholic is brought to you by Immediate Care Medical Walk-In of Red Bank.
Got to give it up to the cheerleaders and all the band members braving the elements on this rainy Friday night. The RBC Casey's home against Colonia, looking for a 3rd straight win. And early on, punt troubles for Colonia. Nasir Darnell able to make that stop. How about this for field position? The Caseys take over at the 1-yard line. 1 play, 1 yard, 1 touchdown. That's the drive summary. Zach Baer from short range makes it 7-0 Caseys. A lot of great play on this defensive RBC. I love this guy. Matt Ansell makes plays every single week. Tackle for a loss right there. And then it was time for Nick Brusca to go to work. He's the 3rd quarterback for RBC. First 2 are injured. Brusca, run first mentality. That's a great run right there to the 5-yard line. Same drive. Push back a little. Look at Brusca. This is an RBC vintage touchdown. Look at everyone getting on the fun. Push him in. Brusca, with a little help, gets in the zone. Touchdown Caseys. 14-0, 6 minutes in. More great defense. Look at Connor Moore. Tackle for a loss right there. RBC defense was dialed in, and Nick Brusca did his thing as well. This is a 12-yard touchdown run. When you add it all up, Nick Brusca had 3 touchdown runs. RBC had a 28-0 lead at the half, and they go on to a 35-0 victory over Colonia. Non-conference game for the Caseys. They certainly shined. You saw 2 of Brusca's TD runs in the highlights. Taj Barandesco had a pick 6 in the first half, as the Caseys are now 3-1 on the season. After the game, R.J. Cook caught up with Casey's head coach Frank Edgerly, who had high praise for his newest QB and a solid defensive effort.
Well, you know what? Nick last week stepped into a tough spot and played very well. Now having the whole week to kind of take the reps, okay, you get more comfortable. I think it definitely showed tonight. Hey, tough conditions, tough weather. The team came down here, back against the wall, played hard. Listen, 35-0, okay, good win, obviously, but we got a long, long way to go.
Shore Sports Zone's coverage of the Long Branch Green Wave is brought to you by Rosario Realty.
At Long Branch High, the Green Wave looking for an upset. Wall with a 14-7 lead at the half. 3rd quarter action. The Green Wave defense putting on pressure to quarterback Eddie Scott, and a nice stick right there by Kevin Porch. But the Wall defense was outstanding in this game. This is Shane Ritchie, and Shane Ritchie's going to do something special. The INT, and he is gone. Pick 6 time for Shane Ritchie. Won a Monmouth Building Center game ball earlier this year. 21-7 Wall in front. Down 14, the Green Wave trying to get back into the game. Keith Cooper with a great run inside the 5, but the drive would stall. 4th quarter action now. This is Sean Larkin, and Sean Larkin had himself a game. 2 TD runs in the first half and another big run here inside the 40-yard line. But the Green Wave defense comes up big. Long Branch comes up with an INT here. It's Darren Cleveland. It stays a 21-7 game in the fourth, but Long Branch couldn't capitalize on the turnover. This is Darian Valme with a quarterback sack here, and Sean Larkin was able to set the tone the rest of the way. This run down to the 14-yard line, it leads to this. Sean Larkin, his third touchdown run of the game. This one covers 5 yards, and the Wall Crimson Knights are now 4-0 on the season. 27-7 is your final. Sean Ritchie with 3 TD runs. Shane Larkin with the pick 6. The Crimson Knights continue to impress. It's easy to get lost in the shuffle in B North with so many powerful programs. Middletown North, Middletown South, RBC Ocean. Wall has made a statement and has jumped out to a great start to 2016. The Crimson Knights win by 20 at Long Branch. Let's go to Neptune. Can Freehold Township get in the 4-0 club in the Shore Conference? Good game between the Patriots and Scarlet Flyers early on. The Freehold Township offense going to the air despite the wet weather. Charles Sabaw to Anthony Lottie. This is a 47-yard game. And then the same combination. Sabaw finds the future Penn Quaker. 27 yards more for Anthony Lottie. It would lead to this. Tyler Schulman, his 5th field goal of the young season. 31 yards, it's good. Freehold Township with a 3-0 lead. Neptune would get things going thanks to special teams play. This is Marvin Morgan. And Morgan able to elude the first defenders attacking him. And then look at Marvin Morgan go. This is a 36-yard gain. And Neptune's got good field position. Here's Malik Ingram. He loses his balance just a little bit. Still a good 19-yard gain, and then no problems with balance here. Look at Malik Ingram. Absorb the hit and bounce off of it and find the end zone. That's a great play by Malik Ingram. 6'3 Neptune at the half. We fast forward to the fourth quarter. A couple of key plays right here. Bad snap. Mike Ferdinandi with the big hit. Freehold Township takes over at the 8-yard line. And Charles Sabaw is going to cash in on that turnover. Sabaw to Adrian Riboltowski. Oh, the umbrella goes up. But you saw him get the catch before that happened. Adrian Riboltowski with the 8-yard TD catch. It's 10-6 Freehold. 4 minutes to go. Plenty of time for Neptune to get something going. On the punt, it's Marvin Morgan again. Look at this great run by Marvin Morgan. Once again, Neptune has awesome field position, but on the next play, that Freehold Township defense, opportunistic. DeAndre Sanders strips and recovers the fumble. Great clutch play there. Nice job by Sanders. And then one more chance for Neptune. Good pressure up front. And the Freehold Township defense is able to preserve a quality road victory. Great job by Coach Corey Davies and the Freehold Township Patriots, off to a 4-0 start. And as you saw in those highlights, it was a hard-fought win. It was Sabaw to Riboltowski. That touchdown in the fourth quarter seals the deal as Freehold Township is able to hang on for a 10-6 win at Neptune.
Shore Sports Zone's coverage of the Raritan Rockets is brought to you by Bayshore Community Bank.
In Toms River, freshman quarterback Ryan Clark and Donovan Catholic hosting Raritan, both teams searching for their first win of the year. Donovan put together a nice drive here. Clark keeping it himself. That's a good 9-yard gain. Looking forward to seeing this young man over the next 4 years for Donovan Catholic. But trouble here, the snap goes over his head. And Raritan looking for that loose pigskin, and look at the scoop and score right there. That's Ryan Dickens, committed to the University of Connecticut. The Huskies are proud. 6-0, the extra point is no good. The Rockets get the ball back. Big game for Vito Aleo. Nice running right here. Aleo picks up 19 yards. Raritan is on the move. And it looked like it was about to be a Rockets touchdown, but Aleo loses the handle. The Griffins fall on it for a touchback. Good job by the Donovan defense right there. but Raritan's able to get the football right back. How about another defensive play? Big hit right there, and Paul Pavaro scoops it up and rumbles his way into the end zone. That made it 12-0 Raritan. Wow, good to see some good defensive highlights from the Rockets. And then Vito Aleo for the 2-point conversion. Oh, he had a bread truck he could drive that hole through. Man, that was good blocking right there. 14-0 Raritan, and the Rockets pick up their first win of 2016 thanks to a 34-6 win over Donovan Catholic. Vito Aleo had 2 touchdown runs as well as that 2-point conversion you just saw. And what a good job by that Raritan defense. Ryan Dickens and Paul Bavaro both with defensive touchdowns. Remember, Raritan plays that tough schedule early on. The Rockets are much better than a 1-3 team, and I think we'll see that over the coming weeks as Raritan scores a 34-6 win at Donovan Catholic.
Shore Sports Zone's coverage of Shore Regional is brought to you by Surf Pro of Eatontown Long Branch.
Let's wrap things up at Shore Regional. The Blue Devils hosting Bishop Ahr. We picked this up scoreless in the second quarter. Bishop Ahr on the move inside the 10-yard line. They lose the handle. The Blue Devils able to fall on the football. Huge turnover as Shore's defense comes through big. Late second quarter now. Shore looking to get on the board in a scoreless game. Matt Pinnell rolling out. So elusive. This is a great catch by Gil Goldsmith. He's able to stay in bounds, and the Blue Devils have something going. Pinnell, great vision right here. He's able to get low, create some space inside the 35-yard line, and then Josh Campy on the screen. This drive would stall. We had a scoreless game at the half, but Shore Regional able to put together a fourth quarter rally thanks to Matt Pinnell. He had 2 fourth-quarter touchdown runs covering 35 and 70 yards. That was the difference. Shore Regional picks up its 3rd straight win with a 14-7 triumph over Bishop Ahr. Coming up next Saturday, big showdown in Middletown. Shore Regional travels to 4-0 Modern Day Prep. The Seraphs right now in control of the B Central race. Shore Regional will try and knock them off. They've got a little momentum thanks to a 14-7 win over Bishop Ahr. Got to give a major shout out to our team at Shore Sports Zone. They bundled up the cameras. They bundled themselves up to bring you all this great action. So thank you so much to Alex Lorenzo, Ryan Olson, Jay Cook, and my wife, Diane Krampanis. I might be sleeping on the couch for a couple of days, sending my wife out to shoot 2 high school football games, but don't tell her it was worth it. For our team at Shore Sports Zone, thanks so much for watching. We're going to dry off the cameras and do it all again on Saturday. Check us out this weekend for more high school football action right here on ShoreSportsZone.com.